So Osprey, I've been playing a little bit with. There were a couple things sailing her last year that I wasn't as happy as I could be. Granted, these are homemade sails, so just with whatever I had handy. That said, I think these improvements will help it. So one of the things is I couldn't hike. I had to pull out the mainsail because it was loose-footed, and it needs to be loose-footed to clear the windshield. But now that I've got it this way, I added a sprit and painted it white. And the sprit then will help shape because I can adjust the tension. And it needs to be a little bit loose to keep the foot loose enough to lift over. But once I'm on attack, though, I can snug it up. And so that is an improvement because now I can pull it way out. So for downwind, it'll be crazy good. Keep in mind, this is a motor sailor. Osprey is intended to have a 4-horse with a rudder blade attached to it. And that way I always have my prop in the water. I found she reached well, very well. I would do about 4 or 5 miles an hour. So the mizzen, I was going to drop the mizzen altogether, but originally I had a line from this corner wrapped to the end of the sprit and over to the other corner. So what I was finding is it would want to flip over on me back and forth a little bit less controllable. So it needed a boomkin. I didn't want anything crazy complicated. So I took one of my oars and I rigged it here, tied it. So it's basically tied and drilled a hole through the end. And now with the boomkin, this should be more under control. It'll still flip, but it can't go to such extremes when I loosen things up. So yeah, and the nice thing about the oar is, yes, I did some weird knotting. That's kind of my style. But I put an oar lock back here. So now this oar can also be for sculling. I can row. I stand up and row, or I have a little stool that I set up, and I can row with that too. So this is the changes, and now I need to get it out and go for a sail. Basically, it's my stubbornness that I want a sailboat, motorboat. Really, most people will use Osprey as a motorboat. I'm well aware of this, but I had to test it and to its full extent. That's what you do with prototypes, because I think it'd be kind of cool to have both a camper, a motorboat for fishing, and then it's an all-round family boat. And I showed last year when I went out camping in her, once the mast is laid out on top of the windshield, it makes a really good boom tent so that I can sleep underneath there, and it's loads of room, really comfortable. I can even sit up and just recline a little bit and have headroom sitting in the helm seat. So it's an interesting boat. It can be sailed by just sitting in the helm seat, and you steer with your steering wheel, which is a really cool old wheel. And so it's a comfortable sailboat, and I lean that way because I have hip issues and this and that. So I demand some comfort. And if you've seen our Deanne's Rose and even Crow, my boats are very comfortable. So that's how she rolls. So let's see. Will I get a little bit of wind to fill that sail up at all? Oh look! Oh, there's some wind. Look at that catch. And now that's better shaped than billowed way out. So yeah. So I think this is going to work really well. And then when it comes to this tack, the sprit will actually move out as well. So we won't lose as much shape. Already you see it's pushed away from the mast. So rather than being right up against the mast, it's pushed away. So by keeping it somewhat loose, it works excellent to pull it out and just gives that much better shape to the sail. I think you could really see it there, eh? Yeah, isn't that sweet? Look at that. You'll notice I put the sprits, both the rear sprit, the mizzen sprit and the main sprit, at pretty much the angle of the seam there. All right, guys, think about some boat plans. She's a unique design. I have one being built right now, and the key feature also is the bow drop door, so that it's the ease of entry. And it has a tunnel hull as well. And the construction's a little unique. It has lap construction, which below the hull creates a really nice step. And with blending in with paint, it's not horribly noticeable on the top side. And I have this nice cap that keeps a cleat and the oar locks on it. And so visually, I think the boat is quite appealing. And that eliminates a frame. I don't need an extra frame in that area because for 5 inches thick, it's full 3/4 inch thick for 5 inch stretch. So it's quite strong that way. All right, I could look at Osprey forever. Another point I will say is at some point Osprey will be for sale. So if anybody's interested, leave me a comment and we can private message and we can talk then. But for now, I'm still playing. Take care, all.